Hi guys, how you doing? My name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. Hi there, how's everybody doing? Alexa, what's the time please?
The time is 2:58 p.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
Today is Saturday the 12th of March.
Okay, so around 2 p.m. this evening, this afternoon, not this evening, I took Max, my chihuahua, out for a walk. And I usually take Max for a walk starting down the bottom. Down the bottom, I take him halfway down the road, down the bottom, turn left, and where the builders are still building flats, I walk along there. Now Max has a habit of barking at every dog he sees and pulling on the leash. And I picked Max up and walked in the roadway by the side of the road because there was a load of people walking down the path and I didn't want Max to start, barking, and chihuahuas are noisy, they really are. So I walked into the road and there was this white car parked on the pavement with AG, AG, as the number plate. And it was just stood still with a couple in it. He had a cap on and there was a girl sat next to him in the passenger seat, white car, and it was just stood stationary. So I started walking along the side and the guy had an evil face and he started driving the car, not fast, but in a film or a sitcom, right? It looked like, do you know what I mean? He had this angry face on him and he was coming towards me with this white car, but it was really, really slow anyway. It was slow. But I'm just saying, if you're watching it, you would have laughed because it would have looked funny. And there's a car that keeps going around, a white car with KP as the number plate. White car with the first letters KP. So I picked Max up again and went down to walk on the path. Someone else came down. So I went back in the little roadway, right at the edge, and that car came back the other way. So it comes at me that way, and then it comes at me that way. There was a gentleman walking a dog of a similar colour to Max, but it wasn't a chihuahua, it was a bigger tan dog. And I carried on walking, and I haven't phoned my mother at all today. I haven't spoken to her since yesterday morning. I didn't phone my mum, I wasn't frightened. These things happened every day. I'm 53 years old, I've got to get used to it, what happens when my mum isn't there. So I walked around the field and it was completely empty. And all I could hear was several dogs barking right down the bottom of the field. Ruff, 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 ruff. I'd gone downstairs and there was a parcel for Tracy. Now, my mum's neighbour at Victoria Road was called Tracy. She had a neighbour called Tracy. Before I even came down to Chatham, my mother had a neighbour called Tracy. So, two things that upset my mother is Tracy and Louise, because Louise is my brother-in-law's sister and she's called Louise, right? So it doesn't mean anything to me. I've never met Louise. I never met this Tracy that I've been told about. So as I was coming back and the field was empty going on, coming back there was a big brown dog, Ralph I think it is, another bloke with a cap on his head, with a big brown dog, and a couple, and she had a purse in her hand, walking around the field with a purse in her hand, and he was smoking cigarette smoke all over the place. I'm not angry. Tracy means nothing to me, nor does the word Louise. These are all things that are meant to upset my mum Jennifer, and they certainly don't upset me. And as I've told many people before, my mum was run over at Durrell Gardens. She was run down and the driver didn't get out of the car, and it was a female. My mum was run over at the back end of Durrell Gardens by an unknown driver who rammed into my mum, and she fell on her face and had a black eye. So white cars would upset my mum, right? I was going to domestic violence classes at All Saints when my mother was mowed down, and I remember leaving my domestic violence class, and my mum told me she had a black eye, and she did. She was run over. I was going to domestic violence classes. I was suffering domestic violence when my mum got mown down. So whether that was meant to intimidate me, I don't take cars trying to come at me. I don't take that. Ag number plate, half the word hag, H missing, and I came back into my flat and it's noisy upstairs. Surprise, surprise! Maybe he's got a letter of Hyde Housing. I haven't got a clue. Right? But it was noisy upstairs. It was. I told you, every time people try and make me upset and angry, and it just makes you ill. Doesn't make me cross. I'm ignoring it now. I don't care what they do. They're not going to get moved out. They're going to continue to make my life a misery. What can I do about it? Jack shit. I can't do fuck all. Right, and something else. My gynecology appointment has come through earlier, and I've got an appointment in April. I just hope it's not April Fool's Day. Let me check. You know, 1st of April is April Fool's Day, isn't it? Let me see. So yeah, the bog standard NHS envelope. Dr. Begum. I'm not begging to anybody, thank you. Dr. Begum. B-G-U-M. And it's on April Fool's Day. But I have got an appointment to see a gynecologist, and I'm not having to go to you. Thank God for that. Somebody must have cancelled their appointment. Right guys, I will not be intimidated. I'm in the skull in the lift, and you know, white cars with mean drivers looking at me. I'm not intimidated. I'm certainly not mad. I'm speaking the truth. There are fans I've got that like my videos, and I don't think balloons are mad. I think balloons are great, and I'm going to pop one right now. If I can find something to pop the balloon with. Alright. Knock me down. I'll get back up again.